Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chiz. My pronouns are they, them, and I do things on here sometimes. Today, I am going to be showing you how I made this cardigan that I'm wearing right now. I love this cardigan. It's super airy. It's perfect for spring. It lets air in while also kind of keeping you a little bit warm. This cardigan is crocheted. It is beginner friendly, but there are a few things I need you to know before you go into this video. You need to know a few different types of beginner stitches. So you need to know a double crochet, a half double crochet, a single crochet, and a slip stitch. And you need to know how to make a slip knot. It might sound like a lot, but trust me, it's not. There are so many resources on YouTube, and in the description, I will put a bunch of tutorials on how to do different beginner stitches. So please check those out if you need the extra help. If all those things are familiar to you and you are confident in how to do those things, this tutorial is for you. Without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get into the video. Also, don't forget to like the video if you like it.
Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need is your yarn, and I have measuring tape. That's kind of optional if you have something you're modeling it after, like me. So I'm going for the fit of this cardigan that I already have. Okay, starting off with the back panel, because it is the most daunting, I am going to do as many chains. It gives me the length that I want. So I was going for about 28 inches, and it ended up being 90 chains with my 5mm hook.
Okay, now I'm gonna chain one and then half double crochet into every stitch. So I'm gonna do that along the 90 chains for 2 rows or so.
I wanted to try something new. Wow, shocking. So I ended up alternating between going in the front loop and the back loop.
Okay, I'm at the end of my 2 rows of half double crochet. So I'm going to chain 1, right? Turn my work. Chain 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then go into the 4th loop, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go into here and just like regular double crochet into that stitch. So now it looks like that. And after the first one, I'm just going to keep chaining 4 and going into the 4th one. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll go into 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go into the 4th one, yarn over, and then double crochet into that loop. And I'm just gonna keep doing that, so it looks like that, right? Just gonna keep doing that for the whole row.
Okay, we have reached the end of the first row, so I'm going to do the same thing as before. So chain 4, and then we're going to yarn over and work our double crochet into that last 90th stitch in my case. I was really running into issues with the edges of the cardigan, so I am just experimenting, seeing what works best to give me straight edges, and I will show you my findings. But first, look at this. This is only 9 rows of the mesh. I love this cardigan because it's super easy to work up and feel like you're making progress.
I've experimented with a few different things over the course of these rows, but here's something that will keep it simple and as beginner friendly as possible. Just always chain 4. So I finished this row. So I'm going to do my chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and I already turned my work. I'll show it again, but chain 4 and go into the first one again. And so you have something like that. And then just continue to chain 4 as you were doing for the rest of the row. So chain 4, 2, 3, 4, go into the middle of the next one and double crochet. So that's just what I've been doing. And then I'll show you at the end of the row what I do at the end. So I'll meet you back in a few minutes. Okay, so we're on to the last couple. This is the end of the row. So I only have this big hole and then this little one.
So we're going to do our regular chain 4, 3, 4, just regular double crochet into the middle there. And then you are also just going to chain your 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do it into the edge. So mine is the second one, but just do it into the edge. And honestly, wherever feels right, because there is no right or wrong way. But there are 4, so there's 2 here and 2 here. I do it into the second one from top, so 1, 2. So that usually works for me. And since you're double crocheting, it will build up that straight edge over here. So that's how I've been doing my edges. So let's get to starting a new row. So we chain 4, 2, 3, 4, turn the work, and double crochet into that first one. Okay, then we just continue regularly. So really, it's very repetitive, and that's really awesome. It works for my brain really well. It's really easy to work up a whole bunch. I will let you know how many rows I end up doing in the end. Anyways, this is the perfect time to go put on a podcast or a YouTube video. I personally was listening to Welcome to Night Vale, which is like my favorite and only podcast that I listen to. So I cannot recommend it enough. Anyways, continue to work up your back panel and I will meet you back when I'm done with mine. Okay, I finished and got it to the length that I want. It was 36 rows of the mesh and then 2 rows of half double crochet at the bottom, but it was super easy to work up this yarn. So this is the back panel and the biggest and scariest. I'm going to tie this off for now and work on the front panels. All right, guys, it is me, your pilot, here to gently remind you to take a break. Light some incense, go outside, or look out the window. Go get some food, or some tea, or some water. And don't forget to stretch your hands, because they are your most important tool. And as always, thank you for flying Crochet Airlines, or something, I don't know. I am your pilot, Chiz, and this has been Intermission. Okay, we're back. I hope you got some good hand stretches in, drank some water, ate some food if you forgot about food like I did. But let's get back to it. So we're working on the front panel and we're going to start off with our slip knot. So we're going to chain up as many as we think we'll need. I chained up 36, which is a little less than half of my back panel, which is exactly what I wanted. I started it the exact same way as the back panel and just half double crocheted into each stitch for 2 rows, and I alternated between the front and back loop, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so this is what it looked like after I was done with the 2 half double crochet rows. Now let's get started on the mesh. So just like with the back panel, I started off chaining 6 and then I went into the 4th stitch and double crocheted, and after that it was just chain 4 and then go into the 4th, chain 4, go into the 4th. There is one thing I did differently, and I'll change the angle in a second to give you a better view. So when I got to the end of this first row, I had changed my 4 and noticed that there were 2 extra stitches left over at the bottom, and instead of chaining an extra 4, I just chained 2, and it made the edge straight, because if I had chained 4 it would have bulged out a little bit, but I just chained 2 and double crocheted into the edge there and it worked out. I think if in the beginning I had not chained 6 and instead just chained 4, went into the 2nd stitch, everything would have been fine, just chaining 4 all the way through. But since I chained 6, I had to make up for the extra 2. If that makes sense. I hope I didn't just confuse you, but you can see what I'm doing. It is the exact same process as the back panel, except the front panel is just a smaller rectangle. And you're gonna need 2 of these front panels. If you're having trouble with this part or you need anything clarified, please leave me a comment and I'll do my best to answer. Now I'm gonna cut over to the front panel all done, and I'm going to show you how I stitched everything together and how I did the sleeves. Alright, here's the finished side panel. I made sure that it was the same length as the back panel so that when I sew them together it's all lined up. Then I kind of pinned it together and tried it on to see kind of where I wanted the armhole to start. And that's where you see that safety pin right there. I'm going to show you how I sew panels together. I use a single crochet, but I know that some people use like a zigzag stitch or all those fun stuff, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to show you guys how I do it with a single crochet. So line up your panels, insert your hook through the both of them, grab your new thread or yarn, and pull through both the stitches of the panels. And then I just do like kind of a slip knot to secure it, which is basically chaining 2 and then pulling on the tail really tight. And then for the following stitches, it's just regular single crochet through those stitches. So put your hook through, grab the yarn and pull it through, and then grab the yarn and pull through the loops on your hook. And for the mesh portion of the panels, I just lined up each individual like mesh loop and worked 2 single crochets into the pair. So no matter if one was bigger than the other or smaller, just work 2 and move on to the next set of 2. If you did like bigger mesh stitches, you would probably have to do more single crochets to stitch them together. I would recommend like half of the size of your mesh. So my mesh stitches were 4 stitches apart, right? So I chained 4 and then went into the next loop. So I'm doing 2 single crochets to stitch them together. If I did say 6, chain 6, go into the next loop, I would do 3 single crochets to stitch them together, just so it has that nice like drapey flowy effect. Okay, so I switched to my black thread and then I just did it up until where I had my safety pin, and then I closed it off. And here we go, a moment of appreciation for the seam. It looks so nice. You can wear it whichever way you want. You can have the seam on the outside or inside. You basically have a reversible jacket, so you can do all sorts of fun stuff. You can make the seam in different colors so it can pop more or, you know, be more hidden, depending on which way you wear it, but it's all up to you. Okay, we're almost to the sleeves, but first we have to sew the shoulder parts together. So it's basically the exact same as sewing the sides of the panels together. The only difference is in the first and last like loop combos, we're going to do 2 single crochets, and then in all the middle ones leading up to that, we're going to do 4 single crochets. So this was the first one. I did 2. So this next set of holes, I'm going to work 4 single crochets into there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then after that, we're just going to move on to the next set. And yeah, just work 4 single crochets into each set of loops until you get to the last one. Okay, I'm about to do the last hole. As you can see, it's a smaller one. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets into here. So 1 and 2. And then I'm just going to chain 1, cut off the tail, and pull it to secure it. So that's how I attach the front panel to the back panel. And you have 2 front panels, so you're going to do this to the other side as well. So let's move on to sleeves now. Okay, this is the armhole we created from sewing the back panel and the front panels together at the shoulders and the sides. So we are left with this hole. As you can see, this is the seam right here. So we're going to start at the armpit area, kind of. you can really start anywhere you want, but I just started here because it already has like natural dip to it. So we're going to attach our new yarn to our project the same way we have. So insert your hook and basically chain 2, pull the tail really tight, and then we're just going to chain 4 and go into the next loop as we've been doing for the rest of the cardigan. So we're going to be going around the whole sleeve here, just chaining 4, double crocheting into the next loop. But at some point you may want to decrease the size of the sleeve as you go down your arm, so I'm going to show you how to do a decrease. To do a decrease, all you're going to do is chain your 4 like normal, and instead of going into the next loop, go into the one that's 2 away. So basically just skip over one, and then when you go to do the next round, it'll be shorter. So that's kind of all you need to know. And also for the sleeves, we are going to be crocheting in the round, but we're not going to be closing off any rows. So we're not going to be crocheting circles. Think of it kind of as like a continuous spiral. So as you can see, I've reached the end of my first row. So where that V is like kind of where I started, like the armpit seam area. So instead of chaining 4 and then slip stitching and closing off that row and starting a new row, I am just double crocheting into that loop and continuing to go around, not even keeping track of which one was the first one. That's kind of the best way I can explain it. That way it's just a little bit easier in that you don't have to keep track of a specific stitch, and you can just keep doing the same thing over and over. And also it doesn't create any sort of seam, so it makes it more seamless, and like it just makes it look like it's part of the garment and not that it was sewn on, which there's nothing wrong with being sewn on, but it just makes it look like part of it. So I'm just going and going in my little spirals, trying it on as I go and making sure it's okay. I would advise not to do too many decreases too fast, which is kind of what I did, which is why it looks kind of like cinched at some point over there when I tried on. But I left it like that, but I would advise not to do that, and I kind of tried to fix it on the other sleeve. Anyways, just continue spiraling until you reach the desired length of your sleeve, and then I will show you how to finish off the edge of your sleeve.
So next is to do the finishing edge of the sleeve. So it's a little bit wide here for my wrist, so I'm gonna try and decrease it a little bit so it's a little bit tighter but not like super snug. So I'm just gonna do half double crochets, and I'm going to do 2 or 3 depending on how I feel into each hole. So I think I'm mostly gonna do 3 per hole, or 2, like, because it's considerably wider than my wrist measurement. So this one I did 2 and it seems fine. So I think I'll alternate between 2 and 3 half double crochets into each. So I did 2 for that one. So let's do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so see, we had 2 here, and then 3 here, then 2 here, 3 here. So I hope that makes sense. I'll try and show it at a better angle. So the next one's gonna be 2. So yarn over, go through the hole, and then that's 2. Cool. Then the next one we're gonna do 3. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm back to like the end where I started. So I'm gonna go back into that first half double crochet and just slip stitch. So at this point, I would put my arm through it just to make sure that it's not too tight on my wrist. And no, it's not. It's pretty good. So I'm going to continue with this. I'm just going to do 1 more row of half double crochet, and then I'm going to do slip stitches all the way around. So for the second row of half double crochet, gonna chain 1 and then just keep half double crocheting into each one from the previous row. Okay, so I just got to the end of my second row of half double crochet and last. So I'm gonna go into this first stitch and slip stitch. And then lastly, I'm just gonna go into each stitch, slip stitching all the way around. Don't make it too tight, but you know, don't make it too loose. So that's just what I'm doing, just to close it off, I guess. After this, we're gonna be done and I'm gonna show you the try on. Okay, this is the cardigan. This is what it looks like on. I love it. As you can see, the sleeve here, it's kind of a bit weird over here, a bit wonky, and I also need to get this end out of here, but I've been wearing it and it's been fine for me. That one too. But really, I really love the way it turned out. I think I love it more the more that I wear it. You can wear your cool clothes and it shows through. It's really nice and airy, and I love that seam. I kind of wish I did pockets, but honestly, I'm fine because I always carry a bag with me. But it's just always nice to have pockets. And this is how the sleeve cuffs turned out. Super nice, comfy, not too tight. I also just put a safety pin through it if I ever wanted to close it up like that, but I usually wear it open. But that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. If you do attempt to make this, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see like what you guys come up with. You can make it striped, you can make it 2 different colors, you can do different color stitching. Like, I'm so curious to see what you guys come up with. So tag me on Instagram at Dirt Eater, or send me a DM if you don't want to post it or anything, or not, no worries. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, comment a heart emoji because of my heart-shaped necklace, I guess, and also because I love you guys. All right, well, I'm gonna go now. I got ready and I'm gonna go out. So I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!